Welcome into the Alabama Football Report. I am Tom Downey. If you guys want more Crimson Tide videos all off-season long, even if maybe there's not the most going on, then subscribe. It's a meritocracy here at Chat Sports. The more subscribers, the more videos you guys get. We're getting at least a couple a week, but I'd like nothing more than to do more. So hit that sub button right now. Let's dive into the latest on the Crimson Tide. No surprise, given where we are in the calendar. Recruiting heavy on today's show. We begin with Eddrick Houston, the five-star defensive lineman who revealed to On3 that he is taking a visit to Alabama in June. That late June time frame, the 23rd to the 25th, is a very popular official visit date coming up for various recruits for Alabama. Maybe they'll be able to land some more recruits in what has been a slower start that I'm sure will be rectified for the 2024 recruiting class. Houston says he wants to make his decision on August 22nd. That is his birthday, by the way, because he wants to be able to focus on his overall senior year and not locked in on where he's going to go to school, which I think is a fantastic idea for Houston. Here's what he said on why he's interested in Alabama, why he's taking the visit. I set up my official visit from June 23rd to 25th. I really just like the coaching staff and the way they coach. The players are great people. They try to coach you up, even though you're not even there yet. Just tell you things to help you out in high school. That sounds like a pretty good way to go about it if you're Alabama, by the way. For more information on Houston, this is all per the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings, by the way. He's a five-star recruit. The number 14 overall recruit, as it sits right now, we know how much those things tend to change, sometimes drastically. The number 4 defensive lineman overall, and the number 4 player in the state of Georgia. Given where, and we'll get more into this in a little bit, but given where the Alabama class sits so far, getting a 5-star would be a great get. Not that there's anything bad in general about getting 5 stars, but adding Houston for a class that's a little bit lighter than what Alabama is normally accustomed to would be a significant get for the Crimson Tide for where they currently sit. Now, it is kind of a lull period in the college football calendar. Fall camp's still quite a ways away. Do you want more recruiting updates? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pin comment on today's show, so you should know the drill by now, right? If the ad break happens to come here on the YouTube side, actually take advantage of it. Head down there and let us know what you guys want. Do you want more recruiting videos? Y or N at the pinned comment. More recruiting updates for you. A conflicted ranking, I'll call him here. Jamonte Waller, edge rusher, a 4-star on the 24/7 Sports Composite. But if you're just utilizing the 24/7 Sports rankings, the composite's more the industry standard. We'll always use that here. He's actually a 5-star. He is just outside of the top 100 overall. 4-star, 102 overall on the composite ranking. So a good player to check in a few months when others like Rivals and On3 and, well, if ESPN doesn't really update things anymore, they're kind of bad at that. But when they update their rankings, he could be a riser. Number 9, edge rusher. He's the number 2 player in the state of Mississippi. He has announced his top 10 as follows: Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. The outlier here is Penn State. Everyone else is SEC. South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas A&M. He, of course, is from Mississippi, so you would figure that maybe Ole Miss in particular has a decent shot at him. But if you're Alabama, you can poach number 2 player in the state of Mississippi. That's always a good way to stick it to Lane Kiffin. In the 2024 class, things are not going the way Alabama is accustomed to, even though it is pretty early on. Michigan is one, and this is often a volume thing. All these schools have double-digit commits, right? Michigan has 17 commits already. Georgia's second at 12. It's typical powers: OSU, Notre Dame, LSU, Penn State, Oregon. FSU's doing well. But South Carolina and Tennessee are both ahead right now, significantly, of where Alabama currently sits. They are 20th. A very low number. Now, I want to mention this early. I'm not panicking, despite it not being the strongest start to a class for Alabama. Do you guys remember the Jeremy Pruitt greatest class ever at Tennessee that ended up finishing like 17th or something because they all decommitted? Yeah, it's still a long way to go until signing day. So I would still fully anticipate Alabama finishing probably no worse than 2, because that's just how it tends to go for the Crimson Tide. Where do you think they end up finishing in the 2024 class? I'm sure Michigan OSU, Georgia will all be pushing for the off-season championship, I'll call it, in the recruiting rankings. But get your predictions in for us in the comment section. Now, that was all 2024 stuff. 2025 is also still a thing, and Alabama's made an offer to the #1 quarterback in the 2025 class. It's Bryce Underwood. I think maybe quarterbacks named Bryce should all go to Alabama. Good things tend to happen when that ends up being the case. The 2025 class, by the way, as we'll get into, very strong start. Now, look, Underwood is still 2 years away. A lot of hype around him already. #3 overall recruit, and you would assume that the #1 recruit in the state of Michigan is going to have a real shot of going to the Wolverines, but there's actually been some good track record in recent years, maybe more so than don't want to slam him too much, but the A.J. McCarron years of top quarterbacks having success at Alabama. 2025, it's an interesting start so far for the Crimson Tide. They're #2 overall, behind only Georgia, but have schools like Penn State, Michigan, Oklahoma. Almost a better start on that front than given how far away it is. So we'll keep an eye on Bryce Underwood. Might not check in on him again for another calendar year, but he's in the running for the Crimson Tide. All right, some actual football news then for Alabama, non-recruiting related here. The time and dates have been set for the Alabama-Texas matchup. I would say one of the premier non-conference games across college football this year. September 9th, this is going to be an evening game, a prime time matchup for the Crimson Tide against Texas. 7 p.m. Eastern time kick, 6 p.m. Central. The early line, this was really back from February, not many updates there. Alabama by 8, which it's a big spread. It's a home game, but if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt, I think Texas wins that game last year. They ended up almost winning despite Bryce Young doing multiple insane heroics, leading to him eventually being the #1 overall pick, of course. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch, even with the uncertainty for now, at least, the quarterback for Alabama. So when it comes to this year's season, predict Alabama's record this year. I don't think talent-wise this is as loaded as Saban's been in the past, but he can use that to his advantage. In particular, if you're Nick Saban, you get to realistically play the nobody believes in us card. Because everyone's taking Georgia over Alabama right now. People are taking LSU over the Crimson Tide, legitimately, not A&M. But you can play the underdog card and win, 10, 11 games again if you're Nick Saban. So predict that record for me in the comment section. One last note before we go. The transfer destinations have been announced by 2 now former Bama players. Elijah Brown, the tight end, is going to FAU. And Tyler Harrell, who is still wearing his Louisville jersey because he didn't really do anything for Alabama, is going from Louisville to Alabama, now to Miami. I was disappointed by Harrell in particular. He is so fast. He's got a shot to beat, frankly, if he gets invited to the Combine, John Ross's Combine record. But he is kind of just fast and not that good of a football player quite yet. So these guys have been in the portal, but we know their destination, so we figured we'd make note of that for you guys here on the Alabama Football Report.